so yeah, I just watched U2's The Sweetest Thing. Obviously under the influence, they were. I watched it with a very critical eye, obviously, as I do. Um, but yeah, one of the interesting things that I'll use this metaphor, but I'm not sure whether I should. But anyway, uh, you'll remember. No, I won't cover that. Right, every time I take the flight recorder out, uh, there's ways to try and engineer through druggings and so on and so forth. Ways to try and rerun fever, Dynamo fever, and all that. The amalgam, and every time I take the flight recorder out, they try to the psychiatrists try to regenerate the amalgam and all that sort of thing. They sort of put the flight recorder in there in the first place, which right, okay. So I'll just justify this. It is perfectly natural to, as I've said before, to think of the past, to think of the present, to think of the future. Those are natural processes. But yet again, normal, natural processes the everyday people have, in conventional life, in everyday life, people do those things. And to try and frame that in certain ways and so on and so forth, is a bit of a farce, really. And but I've realised I couldn't keep taking the piss. I couldn't keep, for example, conventionality was the thing to do. Now, I did say if life was a roller coaster, people like the BBC and so on and so forth, the psychiatrists, have just got to ride it. They really have got to ride it. Yeah. I will listen to U2. I do like some of U2's tunes, some of their records. Two in particular, from I think it's Acton Baby, The Fly and She Moves in Mysterious Ways. They are two tunes that I did like from my student days. I won't listen to Pride. That's a bit, that would be, even though it's a good enough tune, well intentioned. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I've already covered Fat Bastards and Elephants and so on and so forth. And there's ways to try and regenerate. I've covered Coloured Materials Limited. I've covered the debunking of the likes of Dr. King or whatever his name was, and so on. Now, I've also said, as was covered in the U2 Under the Influence, obviously, Dynamo fever, rerun fever, and so on and so forth. Well, I've covered. How many times I'm going to cover some of this stuff? But anyway, yeah. stuff in that video I've seen countless times. You know, it's nothing new. Like I said, you know, it's not important to have an adverse reaction to what I've just seen. Like I say, with a critical eye, with the ability to debate stuff put out there by psychiatrists and stuff. But yeah, yeah. I don't bloody know. So yeah, was that, I don't know, an attempt by Florrie to drown me in the kitchen sink again? I don't bloody know. But it could have been. Anyway, I don't bloody know. But yeah. She didn't succeed. But anyway, yeah. Yeah. My 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 suggestion to the BBC is that, you know, if life, to use the metaphor, if life is a roller coaster, you lot have really got to learn to ride it. You know, and if I'm put on that, you know, if like I've said, I take the flight recorder out, they try to put it back in to try and, you know, do all this stuff, which is anything but conventionality, that I'm really not interested in. But, you know, all the rigmarole and so on and so forth. You know, so yeah, 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 yeah. I quite like being high now and again. You know, like I said, most of the time I'm easygoing, and even when I'm a bit high, I quite enjoy it. And I don't really need to justify that. You know, I could debate it. I could do whatever as we get more of the psychiatrists and so on and so forth. But yeah, I will listen to The Fly and Mysterious Ways by U2. Like I said, from my student days. Yeah, I really enjoyed those tunes. And as for the rest of what I've just seen, it's pretty irrelevant. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, all this hope, despair, save me, kill me, and all that rubbish. It's not really conventionality. Suggestion of that is kind of hyperbolic language anyway to use. But semiotics and so on and so forth, and all the rest of it, this attempt to use their metaphor to put a flight recorder, to engineer a flight recorder and then then try and do all that colour materials limited stuff that I could argue as well with the Under the Influence U2 video that I've just seen. I don't bloody know. But yeah, and I go back to saying that not only that, not only would I like a brunette from the Eastern Bloc, but yeah, there's a lot of other things I want as well. But Yeah. Yeah. I don't bloody know. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Or debunk. Uh, which, like I said, is a pretty natural process, pretty average process for for the everyday. You do think back, you do think of the present, you do think of the future. Yeah, debunked, thoroughly debunked. Uh, Dr. King or whatever his name was, and with YouTube's the sweetest thing. I've just seen things that are a bit tired and worn out now. Well, a bit. Anyway, and I could, look over that Instagram post that I did of Rerun Fever and so on. But like I said, taking the piss isn't. It just conventionality, level-headedness, groundedness, and so on and so forth. And getting back to debating stuff now and again, because this stuff, let's face it, for the foreseeable future, because so many people seem to be on some sort of roller coaster, will be brought to me now and again. And I'll just deal with it as I do. Yeah. There's something I do with the sirens that's really effective as well, that naturally nullifies that stuff. Like I said, wise words carry me through, and so on and so forth. But yeah, yeah. Chick from the Eastern Bloc, brunette in her mid-30s, I reckon. Yeah. I don't bloody know. Anyway, evening time, 5:15 in the evening. Yeah, I do like this time of the week. Yeah. And as a debunk, another rerun of one of their Coloured Materials Limited, one of their many Coloured Materials Limited. Yeah, again, I don't bloody know. Yeah. But no wonder so many people are tripping. Some of the time, and then not other parts of the time. Which they can, like I said, with druggings and shenanigans and all that sort of thing. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Leslie J's on the doll. Trying to mind his own business, but some of this stuff is quite interesting. The debate's put, but ultimately, yeah, it is conventionality, level-headedness, and groundedness. That has beneficial outcomes in the in the longer term, maybe. I don't bloody know. How long are people gonna? I don't bloody know. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's that for now.